Hey everyone, Couch Investor back to another video for you today. So a couple of days ago, Dave Lee had a great conversation with Pierre Ferragu. By the way, I will do my best to bring Dave back on the channel because I think it's been around a year since we had him on. So I'm going to do my best to bring him on again and probably others as well. Now, if you haven't watched that interview, I will link it down below, but they touch a bit about the metaverse and how Tesla could be a main player in that as well. We're going to touch on that later in this video, but mainly on the current market and on Tesla today and on Tesla's future. Now, the first big statement and clear statement that he makes is basically Tesla is a $1 trillion startup with a 1% market share. If you don't know what that means, basically car market right now is at around 100 million. Tesla's run rate is around 1 million, so 1% market share. Fast forward 2030, which is, by the way, just 8 years away, we should be at around 20-25% market share for Tesla, if everything goes to plan, of course. Which, if you think of it, is pretty crazy, because if you take today's results and then multiply it by 20, 25, 1%, 20%, 25%, maybe even more, who knows, it's going to be pretty insane by 2030. And very importantly, we're just talking about the car business right now. We're not talking about everything else. I'm going to talk a bit more about that, but we're just going to talk about the car business right now, going from 1% to 20 to 25%, because the main focus right now for Tesla investors probably is not really the car business, right? Everybody is talking about FSD, Robotaxi, AI, machine learning, robotics, insurance, etc. But now Tesla's main business is selling cars, producing those cars and selling them. Then afterwards, let's talk about all the additional things that Tesla can do, because Tesla is really a company with multiple startups inside that company. Now, touching back on that 20 to 25% market share in 2030, who takes the rest, he asks. Who takes the other 70-75%? Now, to me, the answer is not very clear. If you have a clear answer, please let me know down in the comments below and maybe start a discussion about this whole topic actually in the comments below. Now, my mixed answers will probably be just questions. How big will Ford be by then? GM, will they struggle or will they be the market leader? NIO, could they be a successful company outside of China? Who knows? Volkswagen, what's their plan? Is Robert D still going to be there? Who knows? And by the way, when I'm talking about Volkswagen, I'm talking about the Volkswagen Group. So all the cars, all the companies that they own as well. So the questions are there. Rivian, Lucid as well. By the way, like I said in my short video for Rivian, I'm a big fan of the product. I think the product is extremely well made for a first time car. But obviously the company is super expensive. If it was 10 times cheaper, maybe now not 10 times, but you know what I mean. If it was like around $10 billion, let's say in valuation, then it would probably be a very good investment, because they chose the type of car in a smart way, right? Going straight with a pickup truck and then also an SUV and all the things that you can do with it, all the accessories, etc. It's very good company. And obviously it's backed by Amazon. You will not run out of money. But going back to Tesla, maybe it's not going to be 20-25%. Maybe it's going to be even more by 2030, because it's 8 years away, right? It's not 15, it's not 20 years away, it's 8. 2022, which is this year, is probably going to be another year filled with struggles for all the competition, right? It's probably going to be a great year for Tesla, and it already started as a great year. We've seen the delivery numbers and the production numbers pretty good. So let's say we are now in 2023, it's 7 years away. 7 years away, if you have to start rebuilding factories, redesign stuff, it's going to take some time. So maybe by 2030, Tesla will not have 20-25% market share. Maybe it will have 30-35% market share. Who knows? And that's not because Tesla will be growing much faster. No, it's just because the market might just become smaller, because the competition is struggling to keep up, to not be out of business, because they still have, most of them still have an ICE part of the business, and they have to fight on both fronts. They have to still produce their ICE vehicles, because otherwise they'll go out of business, and they have to produce EVs, because otherwise, well, they'll never survive in the future. So questions need to be asked here. Now, going back to the other point where there's obviously a lot of other startups inside of Tesla with insurance, energy, robotics, AI, FSD, Robotaxi, etc., it's going to help them in the long run. Because let's face it, right now, Teslas are not cheap, right? But if you compare it to the overall market, first-hand or second-hand, it makes sense for Tesla to be priced higher because, well, it's a revolutionary car. Second-hand market has gone crazy in recent months, so it makes sense. But over time, you're pricing out a lot of potential customers, which is why the, let's say, Model 2 will be extremely crucial for Tesla's long-term business thesis, let's say, because, well, a $25,000 car, suddenly you can attract a lot more customers, especially if you're going to charge $12,000 for FSD software, which will bring, obviously, the car to around $37,000. So, obviously, that car will have lower margins than what we have today, because today Tesla has the highest margin across the industry, and it's producing less cars, which is already crazy, because the more cars you produce, the higher your margins should be. And right now, Tesla is producing a fraction of what the likes of Toyota or Volkswagen are producing, but their margins is still higher. So when that Model 2 comes in, their margin on that car will be a bit lower, which is why the other part of the business are going to be very crucial. Insurance, the energy side, FSD, etc. That's going to up the margins. And now on the topic of the Robotaxi fleet, I'm completely on his side. I always said that my thesis right now does not have any Robotaxi into the calculation, into the future potential of Tesla, because it's something that, yes, on paper might look amazing and easy to understand, let's say, to see cars just driving around and everybody is happy, making money, etc. But when you really think of it, it's much harder than what we think. He talked about Google Fiber a long time ago, but think of it like this. Do you think that you will let your $40,000 car just drive away in the evening and pick up people and then it comes back in the morning and you can take your car to work? Would you feel comfortable doing that? Me personally, I would not feel comfortable seeing my $40,000 Tesla drive away alone and start to pick up people during the night or during the day, doesn't matter. I'm not comfortable with that, and probably a lot of other people are not comfortable with that either. He touched on, obviously, other stuff with Uber and Lyft, and yes, Tesla could license that technology to fleet operators. We've seen that with Hertz. Hertz might probably do this as well. That's probably why they ordered so many Tesla, because eventually maybe they want a autonomous fleet going around. But then again, there are laws, there are rules to follow. I don't see this happening anytime soon, especially not in the next 10 years. But maybe that's just me. And level 4 should be out this year. Well, they should reach level 4 this year. Again, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to take more time than what Elon is saying, which is fine, because right now they need to focus on the core market, the core business, which is making a lot of cars and delivering that to their customers. Now, touching back on what they talked about with FSD, the pricing of it, and Dave Lee's recent conversation with Gene Munster from Loop Capital, they compared Tesla to Apple a little bit, which is a good comparison if you ask me, because when Apple came out, everybody was laughing because the phone was, a $700 phone. Why would I need a $700 phone? Doesn't make sense. Because people didn't understand the possibilities, what you could do with your phone that suddenly became a smartphone, right? It's more than just playing Snake or another game. The same maybe here with Tesla, the people will suddenly realize over time that maybe paying $10,000, $12,000 for FSD might make sense because of everything you can do with it in the future. Obviously, a car is not like a phone. You don't use it every second of your day. But maybe over time, people will understand that maybe the way you use your car has changed a bit, and that's why you might pay a little bit more and you're fine with that. Which is something probably it's going to take some time, but I think we're going into that direction. And last thing is obviously the Metaverse plug that Pierre talked about in that video, because he touched on the fact that Tesla is very, very heavy in chip making, AI, machine learning, and more specifically, real-world AI. Because we talked about the metaverse a lot on this channel. There's a lot of noise about the metaverse. I've seen so many big accounts, not just on YouTube, but on Instagram as well. Basically, everything that has to do with virtual worlds and VR, AR, whatever, is suddenly metaverse, which is not the case. I've talked about what is metaverse. I did my best to explain it. Video will be in the top right corner. Metaverse is not VR, all right? Metaverse is not AR. Metaverse is much more than that. It's just like saying the internet is just www.something.com. No, it's much more than that. And with regards to real-world AI, if they can nail that, Tesla will be an extremely, extremely big player in this whole metaverse universe, let's call it metaverse world actually, because it's just one step further to what we are today. In a way, if you want me to make it a bit easier, you can look at what Nvidia is doing right now with the avatar, the Omniverse, a bit of the same, but taking it to the next level. Obviously with car being autonomous, maybe their robots as well, if robots can do the boring job. Obviously all of that can be brought into the metaverse, because again, metaverse is also the real world. The physical world is a very, very big aspect of the term metaverse. And if Tesla can nail that, that opportunity is probably be bigger than everything that they have today. Those are the words of Pierre, but I do agree with him on that point. So to conclude this video, and by the way, I'm enjoying going over this interview and then touching on a couple of points, and hopefully this will create great discussions in the comments below. To conclude, Tesla's growth story is far from over. Don't think about 2030, don't think about 2040. I'm 27 right now. By the time I'm 50, 60 years old, who knows how big Tesla will be? Well, who knows where we'll be? Maybe we'll already be on Mars, etc. But think long term, and by long term I mean extremely long term, because the optionality that Tesla has today and in front of it is incredible. Now, that will be it for this video. Obviously, I would love to hear all of your opinions down in the comments below. And if you like this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, maybe hit that subscribe button. As always, guys, take care, stay safe, and see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.